Purpose Coalition is made up of the UK's most innovative, purpose-led leaders and organisations. And in 2022, the role of responsible organisations and their leaders matters now more than ever. Against the backdrop of the legacy of COVID-19, we see that profound new challenges have emerged, both on the cost of living and the growing humanitarian crisis in Europe from Ukraine. So the importance of responsible organisations and the role they play has never been greater. It's about both understanding and acting on what all of this means for communities, for customers, and also for work colleagues. Being part of a wider solution for how we can not just get through today, but also, as part of that, change the way that Britain works so that we can look ahead to building a better, fairer future when it comes to equality of opportunity. As Secretary of State for International Development, I led the UK response to the Syrian refugee crisis and shaped that wider international response. I met countless refugees and heard from them firsthand about the long-term impact on their families' lives and livelihoods and the wider impact on their children's education and futures. I also met host communities that they'd often become part of. People who'd opened their communities up to provide that broader support for refugees, and the generosity of those people was absolutely humbling and inspiring. Many of them themselves had very little. So it's why our humanitarian support for the Syrian crisis was very much about helping host communities as well as refugees cope with that situation. It seems that for us here and now, a refugee crisis will become a key issue in our own country over the coming weeks and months, as we ourselves provide a safe haven for people, often women and children fleeing from Ukraine. And local communities here open themselves up to steadily work out how we can provide support for refugees. Just like the challenge of COVID, again, there's something we can all do to help. So there'll be a key role to play for purpose-led businesses, universities, NHS trusts and councils over these coming months. And this crisis has once again brought that role of what being a responsible organisation means truly to the fore. And from my own background, coming from a low-income family in Rotherham and then being as Secretary of State for Education, I know personally the huge impact that the issue of cost of living also has on both individuals and families and wider communities. Accessing opportunity is often about having resources to be able to do that. So as family budgets get squeezed, so often opportunity gets squeezed at the same time. So regardless of what we call it, be it levelling up or equality of opportunity, we know that achieving it needs responsible organisations to really step up. And doing that really matters during a cost of living crisis, because it's weak social mobility that's why the same people, the same places, the same families are always on the front line of these challenges, generation after generation. And breaking that cycle is not just therefore about helping people get through today, it's also about enabling them to get their lives on track for the long term. That's the real solution. And achieving it is fundamentally about whether we can give those people, those places, those communities access to opportunities that they can take and make a success of. That's why extending and achieving equality of opportunity matters now more than ever before. Organisations in the Purpose Coalition are committed to protecting their work that they are doing with our communities, with our schools and colleges, that helps people better connect to opportunities. Whether it's through the work that they're doing providing quality careers advice, mentoring, training, or employability help, or other support, and particularly focusing that on people from those disadvantaged backgrounds or circumstances. They're protecting key pathways to opportunity coming into their organisations, such as work experience and apprenticeship opportunities. And they're working to make sure they track that progress. And they're working to adopt open employee recruitment and progression practices that deliver a real level playing field for people from disadvantaged backgrounds, removing those barriers and ensuring they have a chance to both get in to these employers, but also then get on with their careers. And of course, that can even potentially help to protect and support the most vulnerable customers that many of our Purpose Coalition employers are working with, marrying up short-term support to help people cope with their circumstances and the impact that has on the affordability of bills, with longer-term help to help change their circumstances for the better, for good, linking them up with that work happening in communities on improving access to employment opportunities, helping people to upskill so they don't have to get stuck in lower paying roles and can find that progression to better paid employment. Together, the organisations in the Purpose Coalition are working and sharing their ideas, driving one another on to do more to be part of the solution. We're driving the purpose agenda and setting new standards for what this means for supporting communities, customers, and work colleagues. Real purpose is about action, not just words. And that's where the Purpose Coalition is leading the way.